Hey, howdy, hey, folks. Nice to see ya. My name is Dustin Cormier. Welcome to Erotic Astrology. Today, we are talking about the Sun in Libra and Mars in Sagittarius, a person, the psycho-erotic chemistry of a person with this combination. Welcome. I'm going to say my own little spiel about this combination, and then afterwards we're going to hear a little bit, we're going to read from Erotic Astrology by Phyllis Vega to get a little bit more, to kind of unfold the content of this combination. Sun in Libra is considered to be debilitated. So this is the worst position by sign for the Sun. The reason is because the Sun is the king of the chart, the king of the country. And usually the Sun ought to be listening to the king of any country. Like when it's dealing with other countries, you ought to be listening and thinking about what is best for the economy, best for the nature, the culture, the heritage of the country that you're in. So that when I don't know, it's like if you're making cars in Detroit and it's good for the local economy in North America for you to make cars in North America. And because that's what's best for the identity of your country, your nation, whatever. You know, if that's important to you, then you won't just go to get cheap wares from China or Mexico or outsourced work, which is cheaper, better for the short-term economy, but not for the long-term heritage of the country. That's what like the Sun in Libra does. It compromises its own values and its own soul and its own self, because it's the opposite of Aries. The Sun is exalted in Aries because it's coming from itself and meeting the world from its experience of how I can fully expand myself based on myself. The competitiveness of Aries is always just building naturally on my feeling that I can get over my own limits. I can get over my own psyche. Sun in Libra says, how can I be attractive to people who will pull me through my own limits? How can I put myself in a situation which will intelligently, rationally, logically uplift me and bring me to my best? So the Libra is the atmosphere, the environment, the people around. And the Sun loses energy here. It's not as vitalized because it's spending so much time looking at what others think it's spending so much time on others' needs that it forgets to think of what it can bring from itself to others. Although Libras know what they are, they know what they can bring to their partner. It's just by reading so much into what the partner thinks, sometimes the partner's just like, stop thinking so much about what you think I want or need and just be genuine. Where do you want to go? And the Libra will say, I don't know. I'm not going to say. I want to hear what you want to go because that's where I want to go. The other person might say, like, I don't care. I've always chosen where we want to go. Like, where do you want to go, but we love Libra because they are this we love Libra for being willing to think about and to blend themselves to fit us. Now, the Mars in Sagittarius here is really, thankfully, going to really help to bring an individuality, a personal sense of ambition, and it will help to right the noble causes of the self. This is a Libra who will be inspired to involve themselves with other people, with a knowledge of other people. But they will have the discipline and they'll know how to enjoy disciplining themselves. It's like I always say with learning guitar. Practice is very important when you're learning guitar. But even more than practice, what makes practice perfect is enjoyment. You will always come back to practicing if you're enjoying what you're doing. And Mars in Sagittarius knows this best. They push themselves, and they do. They're buoyant, they're optimistic, they're inspired by culture, by philosophy, to push themselves beyond their limits by their own reckoning, by their own activity. And they also like to explore. They like to be different. They are engaged viscerally in the animal game of romance. Even though the ego of this person is secretly behind it, not fully engaged in it, and is using the Mars and Sagittarius confidence and uprightness and wearing its heart on its sleeve. So what's nice about this Sun in Libra is that they can be so chameleon and so blendy that they just swish and they can dodge and they move around until they finally find a lover who they think might really intrigue them and interest them, might be a good lover, might help them go where they want to go. But the Sun in Libra can be shy, is not exactly adventurous or forward, and they might not even, lots of Libras go through life just never going for the person that they really want. This is a Libra that says, I will accept the challenge, even though it's like hopefully this person is willing to just let me be their delightful, delicious treat, and to let me be their warm vessel for getting through life easier, and that's okay with me. I don't need to make huge things in my life. Libra cares more about enriching somebody else's life. And it's the Mars and Sagittarius that will be forward about that. Look, honey, I don't know if you know this, but I've got this love-making thing down, and I can make your life something. You will not believe how much fun we would have doing this thing. You know, there's an engagement here, a confident, engaging, subby person. Although Libra's not always subby. That's definitely the truth. But there's a domestication and a refinement to the Libra. And the Mars in Sagittarius adds a wily, fun, explorative, confident, competent dimension to that refined, taking a step back, thinking about your words type of consciousness. They combine together to enrich each other in an interesting way. I will note also that Mars here is in the third house from the Sun. The Sun is in Libra. Sagittarius is the third house from the Sun. The third house from Libra. So this Mars is doubly explorative in this sense. It just lives cripplingly to explore its own values. It's by the Mars exploring different ways of interacting with people. They break into the fourth wall, where while the Sun in Libra tries to be a psychological mastermind and have roles and to see how people can best express a dynamic that's solid. I'm the servitile one, and you're the more burly, sort of like adventurous thinker of where you want to go. It's the Sagittarius here will expand within that. It's like, how can I be competent, confident, pushy within my subby role while also still being not necessarily subby. Again, Libra is not necessarily subby. You can't define subbiness, submissiveness, receptiveness just through the sun sign, although Libras are definitely receptive and sensitive, aesthetic. It's Libra that likes to take lovemaking and bring it out of its visceral rawness and bring it to a refined, etheric level where they hardly even have to touch you. They might just give the gentlest caress of your body while listening to gentle flowing music and silky sheets and all these accoutrements, these atmospheric things. It's the Sagittarius that's doing all this and is getting so fucking hard about looking at that sweet, cute little ass while they're doing all these little enticing things, these teasing Libra things that are bringing you again, like they like make love at the aura level, and they can do like even put little bits of art, put on a certain stick of incense that perfectly takes this moment, and then the next time you have a lovemaking moment, that same smell of incense is lit at the same time in the lovemaking experience. So it's ground, like these are the things that Libra does to grip the best of their sexual experience. And it's this Mars and Sagittarius has a confidence that makes that Libra mind, which is so like if you're observing the atmosphere, it's hard to engage forwardly in the activity. And this person is still in some way, they're still a bit behind the activity. They would really love someone to just take them over. and to be someone who's enjoyable in being taken over. They want to be someone who lusts for being ravaged and has different ways of bringing that, like, that willingness to have someone lust for them and jump their bones in that way, or especially in for the man's sake, of having all these different ways of courting a person and enticing a person. The Sagittarius really brings out a wily, unfamiliar way of exploring what the Libra sees as being basic elements of the relationship that they can know how to expand on. So, now we're going to take a little peek at the psychic mind of Libra for its own sake. It's coming from Erotic Astrology. Let's take a little look at Libra Sun in romance and in bed. After this, we're going to have a reading of how the Mars and Sagittarius complements and adds something to that Sun in Libra. So, Libra in bed. Sex is typically a mental activity for air signs. The patient and caring Libran's quick wit and fluency with language makes words your most powerful means of seduction. You particularly enjoy foreplay that includes plenty of suggestive conversation. A little erotica goes a long way with you, especially if it's presented in a luxurious setting. Your ideal lover has a slow, skillful touch that draws out your hidden passions and desires. And the Mars in Sagittarius is probably very willingly explorative and will combat and will wrestle to make it so it's not the same old thing. Or, like, often the Sun in Libra doesn't express their ardent, passionate desires because they're so focused on the other person's desires. This is one who can unfold to the lover what would be good and exciting for both of us, for me. They know what would be hot for me, and they're kind of willing to explore it in a fun way. Like, what if we did this? It's much more forward than we expect out of a lot of Libras. In bed and out, you dislike hurting anyone's feelings. Although you enjoy debating and discussing things, you abhor quarrels and will rarely be caught displaying anger in an overt fashion. Remember, this is just about Libra Sun that we're talking about right now. This is very different for Mars and Sagittarius. Mars and Sagittarius can actually be rather fussy and picky, and even competitive and contesting for a Libra. Particularly the Libra men, who the Mars is even more activated and expressing itself through the third house from Libra, right? It's a buoyant willingness to say whatever you think, whatever you're truly thinking and feeling. It's just that the Libra, like, it can be delicious because Libra is always thinking about what attracts the other lover, and they can yet explore their own uncharted, spontaneous thought about this thing, and the lover might just say, "Well, it is so cute that your mind goes to those weird places," because Libra can be rather dry and trying really hard to say the right thing. It's this Sagittarian impulse that brings the cream right to the top, and is just like enjoying the talking for the sake of talking. And they're not, so the thing is that this is saying that Libra abhors quarrels, does not like to quarrel, and doesn't want to display anger or argue. They don't like arguing if it's heated. But this is a Libra which is a little bit less touchy, a little bit more willing to debate, a little bit more willing to contest stand up for what they're saying and contest the lover's thoughts. As long as it doesn't reduce their erotic disposition as the person who serves and makes the other person's life better. They don't want to compromise the Libras holding them together But the Libra will balance. They will find ways to say openly things that they need to say. It's a good thing for a Libra. There's the Mars here wears its heart on its sleeve, and it will stand up for what it needs to say in the relationship at the most functional level, because the Mars is optimistic about its logical functions because it's in Sagittarius, the expansive, buoyant thing, right? When you care for someone, you're unusually generous with flattery and compliments. However, you also like to be on the receiving end of flattering remarks. This is Libra. Like the natives of other air signs, you typically feel more through your thoughts than through your emotions. For you, a truly successful intimate union requires a delicate balance of body, heart, and mind. It's very Libra. The senses, the whole human experience. Because you're seeking perfection, you can create a bliss-filled fantasy in your mind that often seems more real than anything in the world around you. Although the Mars in Sagittarius will have globe-trotted around and had many experiences with different people and explored culture, explored philosophy, and enough that they have a pretty, although they're idealistic, this is Mars pushes to the nth explorative degree of what it is that it enjoys, what it is that it's talking about, and it's less likely to fall into that disillusionment or that illusion. Really depends more on the placement of Venus here. If Venus is in Virgo or close to Virgo or even in Leo or Cancer even, then the Venus will be not, those are all bad kind of places for Venus. But if Venus is in Libra, again, the sun here is super idealistic, and it'll burn. The sun and Venus don't get along. So if Venus and sun are in the same sign, even if they're not combust by the 10-degree orb, it still damages the house that Libra's in if the sun is in Libra, and so that damages Venus in Libra too. If this Venus is in Scorpio or just in Libra but not conjunct the sun, then the Venus here will make sure that you will fulfill yourself and satisfy yourself, and will consider the partnership important, and won't just be, it won't be idealistic. So it won't be so idealistic that they lose the sense of who the person really is. Your ideal lover discovers the details of your dream scenario and acts them out with you. Again, this is all just Libra Sun consciousness. Together with your ideal lover as a Libra, you devise new ways of sharing and increasing your sensual pleasure together. Although there is little truly wild or abandoned in Libra's nature, erotic teasing acts as an enticing turn-on that will... I messed up the grammar there. Although there's little truly wild or abandoned in Libra's nature, erotic teasing acts as an enticing turn-on that adds spice and heightens your sexual ecstasy. A sexy striptease, deep enticing kisses, and languid stroking with a feather raise your temperature to a fever pitch. The thought of using sex toys may shock you, but artfully employed, they do intensify your lovemaking. And in particular, the Mars in Sagittarius here is willing to hack into their own limits and to find conquest. Oh, you don't think that I would use a toy like that? Oh, you don't think so, huh? Well, as a Libra, your brain is your most erogenous zone. And talking about sex and reading erotic literature with your lover turns you on, as does trying the sexy stuff you've been reading about and discussing. A lot of this is very conducive to the explorative, sensual, feeling nature of the Mars in Sagittarius. So let's bring it all together here, folks. We've just read about Libra Sun as relates to this energy combination. Now we're going to read in this book a concise combination of the nature of Sun in Libra, coming through the general, the artful, lovemaking nature of Mars and Sagittarius. Sun in Libra, Mars and Sagittarius. A true romantic. You yearn for love and companionship. Pleasing your mate is important to you, and you'll do almost anything to gratify his or her bedroom desires, especially the thought of it. It really turns on the Mars and Sagittarius. You don't expect to be swept away by wild passion, but you do appreciate a bedmate skilled in the ways of love. There's even an athleticism, an engagement level that goes beyond just the Libra can just imagine magnified intensities of deliciousness within. They can make an ocean of bliss out of a dewdrop of a lover making a certain face, that they can get frozen in it while the lover starts doing other things, and they can just get frozen in that one look by that lover, and they're so observant at that level. The Mars in Sagittarius brings out an engagement so that, like, at the physical level, that just, like, they're not just taking a back seat. They're really actively moving their body in this exploration of refinement that the Libra finally seeks. Dull or routine turns you off. You prefer a creative lover who knows how to keep you guessing. Spontaneous romantic gestures add sparkle to your bedroom activities, and, whether watching or participating, a sultry, sensual striptease energizes your libido and gets your sexual juices flowing. So much of that artifice, even the performance. The Mars in Sagittarius probably wants to enjoy the magnetic, subtle gestures of wearing, like, doing a belly dance or some kind of thing where they're lifting their shirt and doing this enjoyable, delicious striptease. And this Mars in Sagittarius here is, like, probably the type of person who is engaging with it and is light about it and is just kind of playing with it and finds in their own mind how to enjoy the striptease. But they are actually really looking to also be pleased with their performance, to admire themselves for having gone to that erotic place, to admire themselves for pushing beyond. And they will ask and they'll say, like, how'd that do for you? Was that hot? And they'll look and they'll say, is this turning the person on? Yes or no? Like, maybe if I tried this, what is it that I have to do to get the most out of this striptease? And so they're enjoying it not only for the sexiness of it, but they are employing it. Like, they're like, how do I be the best stripteaser in the world? This Mars in Sagittarius refusing to fail. Failure is not an option, right? Can make for a very willingly expertise lover. This can even make for tantric people who enjoy just exploring the best that the fruits of the art of lovemaking has to offer. It's very interesting, delicious consciousness sexually available there. It's a person for whom, Libra observes the other, but Jupiter is coming from within itself, knowing how do I best apply what I am and push my limits within what this person would give me to apply myself through. It makes an observant yet spontaneous lover. Gravy combination. I hope you guys think so too. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm Dustin Cormier for Erotic Astrology. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like, comment. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, because I've always got more stuff coming out in the world of Erotic Astrology. I always got more videos coming out. So keep your eyes peeled, folks. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you on the next one.